VTF to come online. Well, I was trying to rush it to be back for Tesla, but Tesla dropped early. Screen share is taking forever to load on the VTF for some reason. There we go. All right, let's jump into this disclosure. I'm an associated member of T3 Trading Group, which is an SEC registered broker-dealer and member of FINRA SIPC. You should carefully consider whether trading is suitable in light of your own financial condition. All of my trades are placed through T3 Trading Group. Here's a position disclosure. I gotta add one on here actually. I kept a very little bit of this TZA as a hedge, which was a very last minute decision. So that is now updated. There's the position disclosure. I had some of that TZA. I dumped most of it to close and kept a very little bit. Blue Apron running on me? What's going on with this? Blue Apron moving as a secondary to Tesla or what? So Tesla's up 4% here after hours. Got a nice little level that's trying to get above on this consolidation. Goes up to like 460, 462, sorry, 760, 762, something like that. These Bitcoin names are coming down off of that. Huh? I don't know what the news is in Apron, but it's upticking. Blue Apron, which I'm in, so I noticed it was upticking. But for some reason, this was the only negative stock that I had like on my radar today at all. Was this Blue Apron, and now it's green based on after hours. This thing went circuit broken today, even though this market was absolutely and utterly bonkers. Not sure on the Biden. Coinbase down after hours because Tesla's saying that they sold a lot of their Bitcoin. Okay. Whatever it is, it is. I will take it. The Blue Apron is very squeezable too. Cherry on top. Cherry on top today. All right. Sorry, guys. Just a little distracted. We're not even up after hours. The Qs are flat from where they close. The SPYs are very slightly down, and the IWM is down. And that's after Tesla gave that initial upside reaction. Tesla's pulled back a bit here, though. It's only up 3% now. We saw that the average move in Tesla on earnings recently over the last few years or whatever that was that they posted earlier was 4%. But they're pricing in a much bigger move, pricing in almost 7%. Oh, excuse me. All right, let's jump into this afternoon meeting. Let's jump into the meat of it. We'll keep an eye on Tesla out of the corner of our eye. Market here closed up 0.6%. Qs here up 1.5%. IWM is up 1.4%. IWM, nice little leader again. Nice little leader there for the Russell. Let's go to our charts. So we came into today knowing that the market had gotten a bit ahead of itself, possibly, right? We're a little bit extended to the upside on our daily chart. We saw that our like short-term tactical sentiment indicator was in that red zone. What am I missing here on Tesla? Without the cash from the Bitcoin sale, Tesla would have been cash flow negative. I would assume that at this price, Tesla's taking a loss though on that, or it's just a cash flow thing, I guess. I see, because we've seen, in my opinion, Tesla do some sneaky things with crypto in the past to help save their butts on a previous earnings report. Still trading up 3% right now, still up from where it closed. Market's moving down a little bit right now. All right, keep getting distracted. Anyway, but big day yesterday, right? Yesterday was massive day. And for the Qs, we broke out of the resistance of our range. For the IWM, we broke out of the resistance of the range. This is yesterday. For the SPYs, we got right to the top end of the range resistance and kind of held that into the close, but closing on highs. It's really only a day one yesterday for the market, which is notable, and you can thank the negative Apple news that came out 2 days ago. And we're not super extended as yesterday's close, right? Closing 292, 293, ADMA's at 386, 387. We're slightly extended to the upside, not so extended that we can't continue, but we are a little bit extended to the upside, and we had that short-term tactical sentiment, which I think is a nice little extra piece of information when you're thinking about your morning game plan in that red zone, which for me, that doesn't mean short. It just means that you got to be cautious in your longs. So specifically, I wanted to see where we would see relative strength. Specifically, I wanted to see what names were going to be potentially in play, and then take it from there. So we did manage to get some continuation here from the market, but off the open, it was very quiet, very sideways until 10:20. 10:20, the market started breaking out. 10:20, the FANG names started waking up a little bit around that time. But the big thing off the open, and we recognized it pretty much right away, was once again the relative strength in the spec stocks, right? The relative strength in the growth names. It seemed like off the open today, the market was going to take the rest that I was looking for, which is bullish. But individual stocks, particularly short squeeze potential stocks, were catching really big opening bids, and it was right away. And it's interesting because 2 days ago, two trading sessions ago, that's what I was looking for. I was looking for the growth stocks, I was looking for the spec stocks to go. Really, the last 3 days in a row, I've been looking for that. And yesterday they went, 2 days ago they went, but then the market caused a lot of them to fail. So that led to me yesterday saying, hey, these should still be on the radar if they can negate the previous day's high, given that a lot of them still closed positive, but off their highs because the market weakness on, I guess that was Monday. And I was wrong on that yesterday morning. Yesterday morning, the growth stocks were not what was strongest out there. Would eventually caught a big bid after a little bit of a rest for a half hour or so was a lot of the FANG stocks, and we ended up having just a monster day. Eventually, everything kind of participated, but it really wasn't growth off the open. Growth was actually tricky off the open yesterday. And then today, when I'm looking for the market to take a rest, it's doing that early on, and immediately these growth stocks just exploded. I mean, the moves in some of them were massive. We were trying to call them out as they were happening. The Snap move was massive. I was in that. I got out of Snap today. The Peloton move was massive. Still have some of that. Robinhood, which I'm in, massive 2-day move there. DKNG, which I'm not in, but was on our radar. Didn't give the follow through we wanted yesterday. Gave the follow through today. Just a lot of these stocks were really waking up. Affirm, which I'm not in, got shaken out of the long 2 days ago. Gave a really big opening move today. Just fantastic continuation on that. Upstart, we know, had a little bit of news, but didn't trade fantastically well. SoFi giving some continuation back up to $7. I still want more from this thing, with maybe getting a little bit ahead of itself. And that's all with Netflix being a big focus. Netflix was very hard. It was very hard this morning. I managed to trade it successfully and make some money in it, but I was down money in it off the open. Kind of started with the feeler, so I wasn't down too much, and I was getting a little heavier off that $200 area. It was very, very close. Very, very close at lows in Netflix today. to realizing a loss and barely didn't. And then the thing exploded, got back to that 205 was acting as resistance, then 210 was a little bit of a problem, and cleared all those levels and closed really well. So that was certainly impressive also from Netflix. And that's pretty much it. I mean, going back to the indices here, we did get some upside continuation, but that was after it was we got some upside continuation, but it was mainly like a rest day also. I kind of wish that this price action happened a little bit lower than it did, but a little bit of upside continuation, mainly a consolidation. Curious to see where that's going to put that short-term tactical sentiment indicator tomorrow, like as of today's close, because this could have cooled that thing down a little bit with a lot of the rest. But at one point today, it just seemed like everything was getting squeezed. The moves were really big. But that was only like an hour for the market, like 10 a.m. to 11. The growth stocks that I was mentioning, like look at the snap move today. This is what so many of these growth stocks look like today. They gave a really strong initial opening move, pulled back to equilibrium, gave perfect higher lows that could have been executable as new longs to new highs, just totally leading the market here. And then, many of them held in really well. Look at this Peloton chart. Peloton chart is just insane. I remember looking at this thing about 11 o'clock and being like, oh, this thing has barely even had a red 5-minute bar today. Just obviously a lot of room to, potentially squeeze these kinds of stocks. And that's really where the profitability was today. XBI gave a fantastic opening move. How does this XBI daily candle look at the end of the day here? This is what I don't want. I don't want this tail back below 85. Might indicate that it's still not ready yet. But off the open, inside day and up for XBI, trading phenomenally well, and then this thing just kind of rolled over. It even broke that opening low, which is not good, and closed with a little bit of an upside tail. So we'll continue to monitor that. I was looking at this thing off the open. I was like, that's it. Getting my next leg here on XBI finally. Can look for the resistance at 87, which I guess it kind of got to that next resistance and failed. And I'm looking at the daily chart here. And I'm really looking for the second resistance higher up near this $90-$91. Just I thought that today we would get that strong close, maybe at like $87, and be setting me up for a move to 90 over the course of the next few days and lead the market. Because whereas the market got a little bit extended, XBI has not at all. Just an inside rest day in this equilibrium, in this tighter range that it's kind of been in, looking for the next level of a breakout. And that's it. From a game planning perspective on swings, trim and trail is the name of the game here. We know, and we discussed in the morning meeting today, that some data was supplied about just the degree to which market participants are short the S&P, the amount of cash that's on the sidelines right now. So we have the potential makings of another one of those really massive short squeezes that we've seen a couple times this year, particularly that one in March always comes to mind for me. There is that potential. You just need the technicals to follow through, which so far they are, and no major negative catalysts to kind of come in, which here in earnings season we obviously could run into that, especially as we start seeing the big boys report earnings next week: Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Facebook. I'm not sure when the Facebook earnings report is, and then we'll see. So trim and trail. I know for myself, I am doing exactly that. I mentioned that this is just rough math. I think I've sold like a fifth of my long exposure between like yesterday's close kind of and today's trading session into the up move. But that still is leaving me, it's putting money in my pocket. It's still leaving me with a lot of firepower in case, there is a world here where the market has a bear market squeeze back up to this like SPY 410, 415 area. And in that world, I want to get paid. So, trim and trail, right? And the flip side is maybe this is it, right? This is it. Maybe the market decides tomorrow it doesn't like Tesla, the market's extended, we pull back, we get right back below the levels that we broke out from, and it was just a false upside move, in which case I put enough money in my pocket from this up move then I'm in this win-win situation. Things are going to be fine, and then I'll get paid significantly better if I can get any sort of further upside continuation. So just the importance of game planning. Got to have a game plan for every trade that you get in, even before you kind of get into it. The game plan sometimes gets adjusted a little bit. Maybe you started as a day trade and you're saying to yourself, well, it's closing well in the money, so I'll keep some to the long side, and I'll continue to see how I can get paid off of this. And I guess that's really all I got for you guys today. So not too much. Market technicals are looking decent though, based on a smaller kind of time frame. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys have. What's Tesla doing right now? Tesla's up small. CCL, something going on with CCL. This thing's down nice after hours. Carnival Cruise Lines. Oh, they're doing a secondary. Felipe trading some Tesla after hours. Good to see you in here, bud. Volume is light? Oh man, on the YouTube? Hope that should be okay. Why does this come down on its own? I turned this all the way up for the meeting, and it brought itself down. I hate this new Windows. Highly going to suggest that people don't upgrade to the new Windows. It's super frustrating, and now I'm probably blowing everybody's ears out. I literally fixed that right before the meeting started so that we wouldn't have the sound issues. I think that's the one thing I figured out. And the settings changed themselves back. Frustrating. This computer that I bought, I'm really unhappy with this laptop I bought. I don't even remember what it is. I don't know anything about computers, but I know it's got this AMD processor that I've been very unhappy with. It's got this new Windows that I'm very unhappy with. So I wish I could tell you what computer I bought so I could not recommend it. But it was recommended to me by the tech guy that T3 had and then fired. So maybe that has something to do with it. Which I don't know if he got fired. I just know he's no longer with the company. I don't want to speak out of turn. I sold a fifth without James. So I have like 4/5. Something like that. It's an estimate. Win-win situations, man. I'm here to get paid. This is when I'm greedy. And I can't tell you how many times I've been greedy, by the way, and I've given back boatloads of open profit. I don't care. I don't care about those situations. Because times when you're greedy and then you get that continuation, which, I'm just talking my own book here a little bit, but I can go back to March because it's what happened to me on that second half of March. Like, I made, like, this move, like, could be like a move that makes my year type of situation. Just because of that. Market just kept going and going and going. And I was like, okay. I think on this day I started to hedge myself out for the first time in the close on March 22nd after this entire move. I think I got out of that by the end of the next day or the day after that. And then I like re-hedged myself at the top and just hedging myself every time we got massively extended. That's why I was saying I really would prefer to hedge myself like if we could see upper 390s 400 tomorrow and it's day 3 and we're super extended, that's where I would prefer to hedge myself than today. I did short by buying TZA, which is an inverse leverage IWM ETF. I was thinking that I want to wait for tomorrow on shorting, and then this red bar came in when Google said that they were going to delay hiring for 2 weeks. So I bought the TZA. I hit the market to hedge myself out a little bit, which is fine. Ended up down small on that at the end of the day just because I held it all the way back and turned a winner into a loser on purpose because it was acting as a hedge to my portfolio. But this is where I get greedy. When I'm in the money on things, when things are moving in my favor, this is where you make money. Um, they say you don't go broke taking profits. I totally disagree with that. I would rather give back significant portions of open P&L to make like real money than to just liquidate and whatever, say I made some money for myself. I remember years ago and not fully understanding it when Mark Sperling, who was like the best trader at T3 at that time, massive trader, said that he makes almost all of his money in a given year in like a few months. And it's really just off of a few moves that he catches really correctly. And I feel like I didn't fully grasp that at that time with where I was in my trading career, but at this point in my trading career, I totally get it. Because you do go broke taking profits. I would rather give back a lot of open P&L, but leave the room to make, those, to catch, real big, you know, for me would be potentially six-figure, moves of P&L. Um, that's what I'm looking for. And if it means I got to give back five figures to make six figures, and it's all open P&L that I've already made, I will do that time and time again. And again, it's like I also said in the VTF, though, I'm not being like a complete idiot about it. I am selling some stock on the way up. I've got a game plan in place that's trimming and trailing, right? And that's why I have taken off like a fifth of my longs here into this move. But I've got plenty of stock left to, in the, even if it's lower probability, let's call it lower probability, in the lower probability event that we get that squeeze to 410, 415 in the SPYs like I'm talking about, and the earnings season continues to go well here, that's when I'm going to make really big money off of this. Not necessarily because of a move from 375 in the SPYs to 395. It's a good start, but I'd like some more, please. And again, if I give it back, it's fine. It's totally fine. It's a win-win. I've booked enough, and that's how I'll continue to get paid over time. So, game planning, key to the business, right? And most game planning is about risk management, which is really the key to it. It's 85% risk management, 15% reward maximization. But now I'm in the game plan portion of it where it's reward maximization. I did the execution, I did the risk management, I did all that game planning aspect of it, and now it's all about the reward side of it from here, or how much of that reward can I get. So hope that helps you guys with your thought process. Yeah, and then all day, and it doesn't look like this Roblox closed particularly well, but like all day, we'll get that risk covered, and then if the trade fails and you give it back, fine. Like this Roblox doesn't look like it's that great, but maybe instead of Roblox, you were in Peloton. You can't like, in my opinion, I don't know. You can't tell at 9:35 or 9:40, even though this Roblox is looking great early on, and you want to be long this. There's no way you can know at 9:45 if this is going to end up looking like Roblox did today, or if it's going to end up looking like what Peloton did today. And if anything, Roblox looks better than Peloton off the open. But at the end of the day, Peloton ended up the better name. I've never met a trader who's good enough to be able to differentiate the two. So our idea here is not to perfectly predict what the market's going to do. Our idea is to put ourselves in the position to make money consistently over time. That is your job as a trader. Put yourself in the position to make money consistently over time, and then let it come to you. And maybe it does a Roblox and it rolls all the way over and doesn't really give you any reward for it. Or maybe it's a Peloton and it just goes into this fantastic intraday trend that lasts all day and becomes a beastie, 20% move, or whatever this was at the end of the day. That's what we want to do. You can't control the outcome in trading. You can only control your actions in regards to what the market actually does. Yeah, I don't know what it is with these AMD processors with Lightspeed. I've made Lightspeed aware about it, or at least I've had our team make Lightspeed aware about the issue. I don't know if there's anything that they can even do about it, or if it's just the AMD. I've been on Lightspeed for 12 years. I've never had any problems ever. It's an awesome, awesome software until I got this new computer, and I occasionally I freeze like once a day. My software freezes like once a day. It's definitely this computer. Would I like Google for a swing? So I'm already swinging Google. Already involved in it from a couple days ago. I forget, from the split day. It doesn't look great to me, to be honest. So I guess it got downgraded this morning, so it's very relatively weak. I don't think that tail is real that I'm looking at right now. Right? Is it real? Did it trade up together there? Oh, it is real. Okay, it's a real tail. Yeah, so I'm in Google. I don't think it looks great. You're at the midpoint of a range. It's acting relatively weak. Like look at Google compared to Amazon right now. Totally broke out. Look at Google compared to Apple right now. Totally broke out. Google is weaker. It's at the midpoint of its range. I don't like that. This upside tail today, I don't like that. The relative weakness today, which perhaps came from the downgrade, I don't like that. So no, I'm not loving Google right now, even as I'm in it. I'm not real big in it, but I've got a position. I'm making some money in it so far, but I want this thing to trade better. So no. From Wild Roblox, sold too early but made money. Curious to know when you bought it. So again, this goes back to what I'm talking about. I think that you should analyze the statement that you made. I sold too early, but I made money. That's not a good thing. And you can't just judge your trades by whether or not you made money in them. It can be extremely deceiving because you could be doing yourself a big disservice, right? Maybe on this one trade, you were able to put a little money in your pocket when you shouldn't have, right? Maybe this thing would have been a complete failure and you would have lost money on it. But it's not about one trade, it's about the long run. And in the long run, if you're selling your positions way too early when they're giving runs, you're never going to be there for the big reward. And that goes back to what I was talking about before. Reward maximization is the second half of this business, right? The first half is risk management. The second half is reward maximization. And I would say that risk management is more important. And it's the number one reason why traders fail is because of a failure to manage risk properly. The number two reason why you'll occasionally see a trader not succeed in this business is they manage their risk well, but their reward is never there to be a multiple of what they can lose. And that's the flip side of it. You need to manage your risk well and consistently, but you also need to be able to have some trading sessions where you are making a multiple of what you can lose on the downside. It's the only way that I know of to make money in this business. So it's not necessarily a good thing to make money in a trade if you didn't trade it properly. So just assess if you really are implementing a game plan for reward maximization. Anyone have experience figuring out how to be registered with the IRS as a TTS trader? What is a TTS trader? I don't even know what that means. TTS. I'm trying to research online as I now meet stated criteria. I'm assuming that's a day trade thing. Yeah, I don't have the information for you on that one, Eric. I'm sorry. Yeah, you might want to talk to an accountant. You guys switch to mark to market. I've heard is what you want to be if you're 1099 retail trader, but I'm not an accountant. Scrolling through here. When is the last day to submit the distribution form? It's due the second Friday of every month. The T3 distribution form. So that was July 8th. So the next one would be sometime in August. The second Friday of August is when the next distribution forms will be for professional traders at T3. CVNA. Let's take a look at CVNA for Donald. Incredible. Down 93% at lows. just a few days ago. And now it's given this fantastic move from 1945 to 27 in just a few days. Massive. Massive. How much is this thing up today? See, then at 18%. Yeah, this is what they were running today. They were running these short squeeze names. Incredible moves. So is it trending long? No, it's still technically trending down. It only gets out of a downtrend, which doesn't even necessarily make it an uptrend, if it gets above, looks like 28.50. So it's still technically trending down, but this is a great day for this stock, potentially indicating that maybe potentially it wants to break this downtrend, and then maybe if it breaks this downtrend, it can go into an uptrend. But this thing's still got a lot of work to do. I mean, this thing is destroyed. Down 93% since August of 21. It's not even a year. Down 93%. Sick. This thing, and that's the interesting thing when you look at a lot of these growth things right now, even the CDNA. Why can't this thing bounce back to 40 and still be a garbage company and a garbage stock? Right? It was just there in May. Just had the snapback to this. There's resistance in CDNA at $47. $47. That's like that's over 100% move from today's low to that price, and I think it's a realistic price target to have. I think if you're long CDNA, we've spoken about this for the last few days. If you're long it from a better price, and I'm not saying come buy it right now at the close. If you're already in this, reward maximization, give yourself a crazy target and go for it. That's how you're going to make the big money. Trimming and trailing. Say to yourself, you know what? Might not be a big probability, but I don't need it to be a big probability. Maybe there's a 10% chance that CDNA retests $46 resistance. I'm long from 23. It's a 100% move, and it's realistic. That's how these stocks move now. And that could just be a short squeeze. We know that these things are heavily shorted into these areas, even still, with how much they've come down. And maybe the shorts, are short from $120, and they've just been riding it down, and they'll squeeze this thing back up to $40 for you, and they'll still make money, and you'll make money, right? That can happen in the stock market. Wealth is created and destroyed. So look for that. Look for that. Also recognize that it's probably down 93% for a reason. But I've been saying for a couple of months here. I've been saying it ever since the SPYs and the market made new lows in June. But most of the growth stocks, not all, most of the growth stocks roughly held their May low area and created bases or made higher lows. That is a notable thing, and if they then break out of those bases, it could create those big squeezes. That's why I've gotten much more aggressive on a lot of these names here, into this area in the month of July, last month as well. I'm trying to get paid on. Give yourself that realistic target. Why can't CDNA, which I don't think is a good company, squeeze back to where it was in mid-May a couple of months ago at $47, or even $60 where it was in the beginning of May? Why can't it do that? And it'll still be a $60 stock that was less than a year ago a $380 stock. You know what I mean? Those moves can happen, and they can be massively profitable in this type of environment. And the volatility is there for it. The low liquidity is there for it. So good stuff. Thanks, Nick. Appreciate the compliment. How will Tesla affect the market tomorrow? I don't know. Last I saw, so where are we right now? Tesla's barely up. It's like kind of right where it was trading intraday. I think Tesla's done this the last several earnings reports. Where's our market? Market is already down. Futures are down a little bit. I don't know yet. I think it's too early to tell. We'll tell in the morning. Market certainly extended, right? A little gap down or whatever would be fine and help cool us off. I prefer the gap up. Right? That's what we were talking about earlier. I would prefer we get a nice juicy gap up tomorrow. I think it's a layup for a smallish time frame short. And a gap down, similar to today's flat open, will make tomorrow a little bit trickier. Let's assess it in the morning. Aaron, you're in prop, so that's for retail. Prop, you just get the K1 at the end of the year. Yeah, Zohar, it has to do with, looks like they were using crypto again to hide that their numbers are not as fantastic as the market maybe wants them to be. Cap Holmes. All right, looks like I got through the questions. I don't have access to the YouTube in front of me, so I'm not sure if there's anything else posted in there. I'm so annoyed that this computer, which was an expensive computer, is just not meeting the standards I needed to meet. It's not helping me with my streaming. It's not helping me with my software. So I don't know what to do about it. I'm going to contact my internet provider also. So I still need to do that because they're ripping me off of my upload speeds, and that might help with the stream too. When I'm on my other computer on Long Island, it works fine. If I'm in the office, it works fine. I'm just too busy to make that trip to the office in the mornings. It's especially a pain in the butt with that headset that I've been wearing when I trade. But anyway, good day today, gang. Good day. I feel like I should be in a better mood because I'm up in a lot of P&L, but I'm not for some reason. That happens. But I hope you guys all did well, and I will. That's what happens when I'm in New York City, Rowan, and I'm getting ripped off here. I'm not getting ripped. My internet works better in Idaho than it does in Manhattan, even though I'm paying for so much better internet that they're just not giving me. Have a good night, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow. I do have to head out west.